we have the press conference that just took place where they announced they told the preliminary investigations, they showed their work, they announced what the actual charges were for Tyler
approximately 15 minutes
Robinson, and that's
event,
still going on.
Mr. Kirk
you know
was
what?
answering a question about mass shootings by transgender
We'll get to that in a
individuals
second.
when a gunshot rang
Actually, you know
out.
what? Let's just
The
dive
bullet
right into
struck
it.
Mr. Kirk in the
No
neck.
personal news,
He
chat.
slumped to the ground almost immediately. The bullet's trajectory passed closely to several other individuals beside Mr. Kirk, including the questioner
deserved the
who
live
was
stream
standing
broadcast of the
directly in
special
front of
report.
Mr. Kirk. Children were visible near Mr. Kirk's stage when he was shot. Mr. Kirk was rushed to a nearby hospital
today as well.
where
Don't
he was
worry.
declared deceased. The medical examiner's report is still pending.
Some of the news perverts are going to freak out.
Surveillance. So at the moment of the shot, a UVU police officer was watching the crowd from an elevated vantage point. As soon as he heard the shot, he began to scan the area for threats. Believing the shot came from a rifle because of its sound, he looked for potential sniper positions. He noted a roof area approximately 160 yards away from Mr. Kirk as a potential shooting position and rushed there to look for evidence. The suspected shooting position is adjacent to an open, publicly accessible walkway. To access the suspected location, a person must climb over a railing and then drop to the roof only slightly below. The UV officer climbed over the railing and down onto the roof. He then walked to the suspected shooting position and confirmed a clear shooting corridor between the position and Mr. Kirk's seat. He also noticed markings in the gravel rooftop, consistent with a sniper having lain on the roof, impressions in the gravel potentially left by the elbows, knees, and feet of a person in a prone shooting position. Police reviewed surveillance from the camera covering the roof and discovered that it recorded an individual dressed in dark clothing cross the railing from the public walkway and drop onto the roof at approximately 12:15 p.m. Although the individual moved out of the camera's view for a short time, the camera again captured the individual running across the roof and then low crawling to the area the UVU officer recognized as where the suspected sniper had dropped into a prone shooting position.
Bro? Where's the gun?
After a short time, which matches the known time of the shot, the individual arose and ran across the roof to the northeast. This discovery led to an intensive review of UVU surveillance recordings to attempt to track and identify the suspect.
Why the early tweet? What the hell? No, I'm just going right into it.
The following. At approximately 11:51 a.m., the suspect entered campus from the north. He is seen wearing a black shirt with an American flag in the center.
Do they have more camera footage that they're just not revealing? I don't understand this part.
Throughout the surveillance, the suspect keeps his head down.
Why are you live so early today? This is when I'm live.
Raises his head enough to get a clear image of his face. As he proceeds across the campus, he is seen walking with an unusual gait. The suspect walks with very little bending in his right leg, consistent with a rifle being hidden in his pants.
What?
This unusual gait continues.
How is he bending
until
then?
The suspect is
How is he
seen
bending
crossing
here
the
then?
railway off the open walkway and onto the roof.
How is he bending his leg then?
View.
That makes no sense.
A camera later captures the suspect as he runs across the roof to the suspected shooting position. Immediately after the shot was fired, a camera captures the suspect running across the roof carrying an item whose shape is consistent with a rifle. The suspect is then seen climbing down from the roof. He appears to drop the item he was carrying as he hits the ground in a controlled fall. He then picks up the item and runs toward the northeast end of campus. Expanded crime scene investigation. Law enforcement officers followed the suspect's escape path to the northeast end of campus, where they believe the suspect left campus and entered a wooded area. In that wooded area, investigators found a bolt-action rifle wrapped in a towel. The rifle contained 1 spent round and 3 unspent rounds. This is consistent with the facts officers observed at the time of and immediately after the shootings. No shell casings were found on the roof, suggesting a bolt action rather than an auto-loading weapon, and only a single round was fired. Each round in the rifle contained an etched inscription as follows. The fired cartridge was etched, no Tyson's
When he was bringing
bulge,
it up secret style, it was wrapped in his pants.
What's
After
this?
he was running away with it, it was
The
wrapped in a
second
towel.
cartridge.
Still doesn't make sense how it was in his pants, though.
That was, again, not spent. The last 3 were not spent, were not fired.
Notices your
The
bulge,
second,
ooh,
hey
woo.
fascist,
And also,
catch with arrow symbols. The third cartridge, oh Bella Chow, Bella Chow, Bella Chow, Chow Chow. The fourth cartridge, if you read this, you are gay, LMAO. The rifle, ammunition
Don't.
rounds, and towel.
You
were
could
sent
go to
for
jail if
forensic
you laugh at that.
processing. DNA consistent with defendant was found on the trigger, other parts of the rifle.
I guess we're all gay
The
now.
fired
Maybe he
cartridge
was
casing,
woke.
2 of the 3
He made
unfired
everybody gay.
cartridges,
It's like
and
when I
the
trick you
towel.
into reading the Shahada.
Law enforcement was unable to immediately locate the shooter. So they published photos of the shooter from the UVU surveillance cameras and asked for the public's help to identify him. Meanwhile, law enforcement continued to try to identify the shooter through other means. The Washington County investigation. On the evening of September 11th, 2025, as law enforcement continued their investigation, Tyler James Robinson went to the Washington County Sheriff's Office with his parents and a family friend to turn himself in. Robinson's mother stated that the following to police. On September 11th, 2025, the day after the shooting, Robinson's mother saw the photo of the shooter in the news and thought the shooter looked like her son. Robinson's mother called her son and asked him where he was. He said he was at home sick and that he had also been at home homesick on September 10th. Robinson's mother expressed concern to her husband that the suspect shooter looked like Robinson. Robinson's father agreed. Robinson's mother explained that over the last year or so, Robinson had become more political and had started to lean more to the left, becoming more pro-gay and trans rights oriented. She stated that Robinson began to date his roommate, a biological male who was transitioning genders. This resulted in several discussions with family members, but especially between Robinson and his father, who have very different political views. In one conversation before the shooting, Robinson mentioned that Charlie Kirk would be holding an event at UVU, which Robinson said was a stupid venue for the event. Robinson accused Kirk of spreading hate. Robinson's father reported that when his wife showed him the surveillance image of the suspected shooter in the news, he agreed
Is it really
that
illegal to
like
laugh?
their
I don't know
son.
anymore. No, man, I'm
He
joking.
also believed that the rifle that police suspected the shooter used matched a rifle that was given to his son as a gift. As a result, Robinson's father
This guy was a gamer
contacted
from
his
Utah,
son
not
and
left
asked
wing.
him to
I
send
can
a
see him
photo of
being
the
woke,
rifle.
man. I don't know.
Robinson did not respond.
Guys, you have to remember something. Like, yeah, this guy killed somebody, but like for the way that like American politics works nowadays, when you're just like, I don't think we should actually assassinate gay people broadly, or like, I don't think we should kill trans people, that's considered woke. Okay. So that's a pretty wide spectrum of people that you could consider woke. So in that regard, yes, if woke means you demonstrate like basic humanity, right? Even though this person did something that's obviously a severe violation of the social contract, inhumane, right? Ended someone's life. Like when they're talking about woke, they just mean like person who doesn't want to literally lynch random people that don't look like them. That's it. That's what they're talking about. So yes, by that standard, pretty much everybody's kind of woke.
To police and reported telling Robinson that it would be best if he brought all evidence with him to the sheriff's office to avoid police having to search his parents' home. The friend also asked Robinson if he had any clothes that
Talk
were
to an actual ex-Mormon leftist who can explain this to you. None of this is confusing to me. No,
that he had disposed of the clothes in different areas.
I'm one of the only people on the internet on the left that didn't immediately run to the. This is definitely a Groyper narrative.
Mel, who was involved in a romantic relationship with Robinson. The roommate told police that the roommate received messages from Robinson about the shooting, and
like when
and
I say this guy was woke, by the way, I don't mean he's like a card-carrying Antifa DSA guy. I just mean he doesn't think trans people should be killed. Okay, that's what I mean. Like, make no mistake, their assessment of quote-unquote woke is so expansive that it fits the narrative for every single human being pretty much, okay? I just didn't run with the he's definitely a Groyper stuff. You know what I mean?
Found a photograph of this
but we still don't know. I'll make the assessment in a little bit.
Text exchange then took place. After reading the note, the roommate responded, "What? You're joking, right?" Robinson, "I am still okay, my love, but am stuck in Orem for a little while longer yet. Shouldn't be long until I can come home, but I gotta grab my rifle still. To be honest, I had hoped to keep this secret till I died of old age. I am sorry to involve you." Roommate, "You weren't the one who did it, right?" Robinson,
Tyler Robinson was a bit of an L roommate, not gonna lie.
Roommate, "I thought they caught the person." Robinson, "No, they grabbed some crazy old dude, then interrogated someone in similar clothing. I had planned to grab my rifle from my drop point shortly after, but most of that side of town got locked down. It's quiet, almost enough to get out, but there's one vehicle lingering." Roommate, "Why?" Robinson, "Why did I do it?" Roommate, "Yeah." Robinson, "I had enough of his hatred. Some hate can't be negotiated out. If I am able to grab my rifle unseen, I will have left no evidence."
Low-key, he's not wrong. Like, if you grab the rifle...
Hopefully they have moved on. I haven't seen anything about them finding it. Roommate, "How long have you been planning this?" Robinson, "A bit over a week, I believe. I can get close to it, but there is a squad car parked right by it. I think they already swept that spot, but I don't want to chance it."
This is giving real Hamas fighters on the radio
Robinson
recordings released
again,
by Israel.
"I'm wishing I had circled back and grabbed it as soon as I got to my vehicle. I'm worried what my old man would do if I didn't bring back Grandpa's rifle. IDEK if it's had a serial number, but it wouldn't trace to me. I worry about prints. I had to leave it in a bush where I changed outfits. Didn't have the ability or time to bring it with. I might have to abandon it and hope they don't find prints. How the F will I explain losing it to my old man? Only thing I left was the rifle wrapped in a towel. Remember how I was engraving bullets? The F in messages are mostly a big meme. If I see notice bulge UWU on Fox News, I might have a stroke all right. I'm going to have to leave it. That really effing sucks. Judging from today, I'd say Grandpa's gun does just fine, IDK. I think that was a $2K dollar scope. Wink, wink. Robinson again, delete this exchange. Again, Robinson, my dad wants photos of the rifle. He says Grandpa wants to know who has what. The feds released a photo of the rifle, and it is very unique. He's calling me, RN, not answering. Robinson, since Trump got
we do have a crisis in violence in this country, but honestly, we have a crisis in literacy too. Like, this is a 4.0 GPA kid. And even then, he was so fried where he was just like consistently communicating in memes, dude. How was that possible? Like, I've seen like white supremacist school shooters who literally write manifestos, and you look at it and you're like, oh my God, this is not the major point, but like, I cannot comprehend how bad you are at writing something legible. But this guy is not like that. He's like a 4.0 guy. What the
The search for Robinson's residence. Police executed a search warrant on Robinson's residence. During that search, police discovered a shell casing with etchings like the etchings found on the shells in the rifle.
I guess he's
near
just like,
UVU.
this is him just doing
Police
comms
also found
with a
several
friend
target boards
or a
with bullet
possible
holes
lover or
in
something.
Robinson's
I don't know.
home. Now, as I stated in the beginning, when I read those allegations, these are allegations. And like the evidence set forth in this statement, those allegations, what you've heard from the media, even from state and federal officials, has not been tested in the crucible of a jury trial. I understand the public's desire to know the facts. My own family members have pressed me for information. Why are we reluctant to share the details of the investigation itself and comment on the case? Because I want to ensure a fair and impartial trial. I became a prosecutor because of my love for the ideals of this great country and the principles embedded in our Constitution. The free exchange of ideas and opinions is critical to this great American experiment, but so too are the protections afforded to the accused found in the Fifth and Sixth Amendments. The right against self-incrimination, the right to a speedy and public trial, the right to the effective assistance of counsel, the right to confront one's accusers, and the right to compel the attendance of witnesses. And perhaps most importantly, under our Constitution, the accused is presumed innocent until we, the state, prove to an impartial jury of defendant's peers his guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. That jury cannot rely on our allegations, on what they hear in the news, or on what they hear from a public official. The jury is the sole trier of fact, and they will ultimately determine those facts based on evidence a trial judge has determined is admissible. Again, as prosecutors, we bear the burden to prove guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. But make no mistake, we welcome this burden. I'd like to now introduce my trial team.
Bro, they flubbed this investigation big time with Kash Patel too.
This is a veteran and expert team of
I do feel like a competent defense attorney will make mincemeat out of a lot of the process discovery.
One of my two chief deputies, Ryan McBride.
If the jury is Boomer, he may walk. Well, I think they're fearful of having like this is one of the few instances where you got like a bunch of Mormons in this jury. They're not. I don't know how they're gonna feel about like a young Mormon with an incredible future ahead of him, like cut short by an act of vengeance or something. Like, I don't know. We'll see.
Prosecutors.
Because, like, yeah, there's a lot of people on TikTok that are, he's going to jail regardless, yes. But there's a lot of people on TikTok that are just like talking about like, you've done it. You really pissed us off now or some shit like that. But I'm not so certain that like everyone is as hopped up on the Charlie Kirk was our MLK that you see online. Dude, it's the same tribalism that you saw from the right when they recognized that this wasn't like the normal profile of like a septum ring wearing transgender Antifa guy, when they were like, what the f, he's from a good family? Oh no. And then they significantly de-escalated their rhetoric. Like, that's the same mentality you will hear from a local Boomer jury in Utah.
In custody are held virtually.
Like, if he was brown, it's the death penalty for sure, right? Do you understand what I mean?
Court's X account.
If he's
at
brown,
Utah
it's the death
State
penalty
courts.
for sure. If he's
Now,
trans, it's a death
following
penalty for sure. It's a
defendant's
death penalty
first
for all
appearance,
trans after that.
He will be entitled to a preliminary hearing. At that hearing, the state will be required to show probable
You're
cause.
sleeping on the anti-gay
the
hate in
defendant
Mormon world?
committed
No,
the
for sure.
crimes.
They look at him
The
as like.
purpose of the preliminary hearing
I don't know.
is not
I don't
to
know.
determine
I don't
guilt,
know like the mindset of
simply
like
to
boomer
assure the
Mormons
court
enough, but
that the
I can totally
prosecution
see them
has enough
looking at the
evidence to
situation and being
proceed
like,
to
he was led
trial.
astray by evil, you know?
If a judge
But-
finds probable cause,
but, you know, he can
binds the
still be,
case over for trial, and
He can still
arraignment
find
hearing
salvation.
will be
I don't know. Do
held.
Mormons do that
At
stuff?
that hearing, a judge will again inform defendant of the charges against him and require him to enter a plea to each charge. The next step following the
I
arraignment
feel like
is an
everybody does
opportunity
that stuff.
for
You
the
know what I
parties
mean?
to
Like that's
file
just like a
any
very
relevant
American
motions,
analysis of
and then
Christianity. No
ultimately the
matter what,
trial
like,
itself. Discuss the case with the press occasionally. It will not be a day-to-day or even week-to-week occurrence, but we will only do so in a manner as not to jeopardize the fair trial process. Before I conclude, I want to express my appreciation for the tireless work of our local, state, and federal law enforcement officers. They have an extremely difficult, dangerous, and often thankless job. I'm proud to acknowledge the exceptional work they do every day, and particularly their work on this case. It was truly a marvel to witness. Their skilled work and dedication have brought us to this point.
Enough.
I'm also
The dude's dad gave him up. You didn't do anything. Bro, these guys literally make it seem like they did Minority Report every time, bro. Dude, so much of like the FBI's terror apprehension unironically is just like getting some autistic 17-year-old Muslim kid online to be like, hey, want to find some Tannerite at this drop site, and then catching them and being like, we thwarted yet another insane Islamic terrorism incident, right? Like it's just like, and it's the same here. They literally didn't do shit, bro. They didn't do dick. They barely found like 3 photos of the dude, of the potential suspect, walking up the goddamn stairs to be like, we did it, boys. I don't understand. They were looking in the bushes. Yes,
I don't
that's
have
true.
that
They
information.
did. They did look in the bushes and they found the weapon. That's true. They did do that.
Do the death penalty independently. Did you hear it all from the Trump administration or Governor Cox's administration?
Just realize how scary the repercussions would be if, for example, he was in your Discord server or was a fan of yours. Like people would just use that to be like, oh, Hasan's radicalizing young men into killing people. Yes, 100% they would do that. They're already doing that. They've been saying that regardless of the shooter's profile. It's been interesting because, like, one, I was one of the only left commentary people that just straight up immediately said, I don't think this dude's a groiper. I explained the background of why people think he's a groiper, but I said, I don't think he's a groiper. I think he's just like somewhat of an apolitical guy that is like liberal adjacent because he has like tolerance for like some level of tolerance for like gay and trans people, right? Like, which of course by right-wing standards means you are the wokest trantifa. You're trans antifa. You're basically transgender yourself if you think that like trans people shouldn't be killed, right? So like from their assessment, they just keep trying to angle this as like you know, this is wokeness. This is wokeness unfolding. But in reality, just, you know, a political centrist overall conservative family, basically on his journey of I guess radicalizing towards feeling empathetic to other people. Did we learn anything new here? Like the preliminary investigation, beyond, like the only thing that we learned is the secret messages between him and the roommate, right? And it feels like they basically admitted that the roommate had no idea what was going on. This dude just kind of did it on his own, and then basically revealed to the roommate who was cooperating with law enforcement, by the way. And he called the roommate love, as it my love, and that probably implies that they are in a relationship, right? Family says he leans left, but once again, that assessment implies, and I don't have any reason to believe that that's not true. Okay. I'm just simply stating when a MAGA conservative in Utah says you lean left or you're becoming a leftist, you're like radicalizing or whatever, they just mean you don't think gay people should be killed. Okay? Remember, they were like, Charlie Kirk is a wonderful moderate. Charlie Kirk is on the record being like, the Bible says gay people should be stoned to death. So like, obviously, from that assessment, if you think like Charlie Kirk is a moderate figurehead akin to like an MLK style person, then yeah, you're going to think this guy who tells you like, maybe we shouldn't actually kill trans people and gay people. They are our friends and it's okay. Like they're going to look at that and be like, this is the wokest person on the planet. This person is basically a communist, socialist, transgender now. Okay.